Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear me with your heart today, because I'm not just talking to your mind. I'm talking to the part of you that's been doubting, delaying, and drifting. Maybe you've looked in the mirror lately and asked yourself, what am I doing with my life? Maybe you've felt like time is moving but you're standing still, like you're alive but not living, like you're stuck in goals that give you direction, purpose, and power. So if you're feeling lost, hold on, because today we're going to find your path. We're going to learn how to dream again, how to focus again, and how to move forward with boldness and clarity. This is your time. Your chapter, your breakthrough. Let's talk about how to set goals when life has left you. Before you can set meaningful goals, you must first discover who you truly are. When people feel lost in life, it's not always because they lack ambition. It's often because they've lost touch with their identity. They've been pulled in so many directions, worn so many masks, and followed so many expectations that they've forgotten what lights them up inside. You can't set a powerful goal from a place of confusion or disconnection. That's why the first and most crucial step is to pause, reflect, and reconnect with the real you. Ask yourself, what do I love? What makes me feel alive? What values matter most to me? These questions aren't small. They are the compass for your future. Many people try to set goals from a place of comparison. They see someone else's lifestyle on social media or hear about a friend's success, and they immediately think, maybe I should do that too. But a goal borrowed from someone else's vision will never fulfill you. That's how people end up climbing the ladder of success, only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. True direction starts with self-awareness. You must take the time to peel back the layers, to separate what you want from what you've been told you should want. That requires honesty, that requires courage, and yes, it might even require solitude. It's okay to be still for a moment. In fact, it's necessary. Stillness allows you to hear the quiet whisper of your soul, and within that whisper is the truth of who you are. Think back to when you were a child, before the world told you who to be. What did you dream about? What excited you, scared you, challenged you? Those clues are still there. They never left. They've just been buried under years of noise and distraction. Unearthing those passions is not a waste of time. It's the foundation of a life that actually means something to you. Once you start uncovering these truths, you begin to feel a sense of clarity. You start recognizing patterns, what you enjoy, what drains you, what gives you purpose. That clarity is like a lantern in the dark. It doesn't show you the whole path, but it gives you enough light to take the next step. And when you know who you are, you stop chasing everything and start choosing intentionally. You stop reacting and start creating. You begin to understand that you were never really lost. You were just disconnected. And when you realign with your core, your goals no longer feel forced or overwhelming. They feel natural, they feel right, because now they're not built from pressure, they're built from purpose. When you begin setting goals, it's important to understand that they should come from your values, not your fears. Too often, people create goals out of desperation instead of inspiration. They say, I don't want to be broke, so they chase money, or I don't want to be alone, so they settle for unhealthy relationships. These are fear-based goals, and while they may push you for a moment, they rarely sustain you for the long haul. That's because fear drains your energy. It doesn't feed it. If your goals are only about avoiding pain instead of reaching for purpose, then you're building a future on a shaky foundation. Lasting progress doesn't come from running away from something. It comes from moving towards something that matters. Your values are the core beliefs that define who you are. They are the inner compass that guides your decisions and gives your life meaning. When your goals align with those values, they carry a different energy. You feel pulled toward them instead of pushed. For example, if you value freedom, then a goal to build your own business might energize you. If you value creativity, then a goal to write a book or start a podcast will feel fulfilling, even if it's hard. These kinds of goals are deeply personal. They connect with the essence of who you are. That connection makes them powerful. On the other hand, when goals are rooted in fear, they usually come with anxiety, pressure, and comparison. You find yourself doing things just to prove something to others. You grind endlessly without joy. You sacrifice your peace for applause. And even if you reach the goal, it doesn't satisfy you because it wasn't truly yours to begin with. That's why it's so important to take time to reflect before committing to a path. Ask yourself not just what you want, but why you want it. If the answer is rooted in fear of failure, rejection, or not being enough, then it's time to reevaluate. But if the answer connects to something meaningful, something that reflects your principles, your passions, and your personal truth, then you're on the right track. Setting aligned goals also helps you stay motivated when challenges arise. Because let me tell you, there will be setbacks and there will be days when it feels easier to quit. But when your goal is tied to your values, you remember why you started. That why becomes your fuel. It reminds you that this isn't just about achieving something. It's about becoming someone. It's about living a life that's honest, fulfilling, and true to your identity. That kind of alignment gives you clarity. It eliminates distractions. It empowers you to say yes to what matters and no to what doesn't. And that's not just a goal-setting strategy. It's a way of life. When your goals come from your core, the journey becomes just as meaningful as the destination. You stop chasing what looks good and start building what feels right. You don't follow the crowd. You follow your conviction. Many people get overwhelmed by the idea of goal setting because they think they need to have it all figured out from the start. They try to map out the next 5 or 10 years, and when they can't see every step clearly, they freeze. But the truth is, you don't need a perfect plan. You just need a simple one. And more importantly, you need to commit to daily progress. That's where the power lies. A dream without action is just a wish, and even the biggest goals can only be achieved one step at a time. The key is to break it down into manageable parts and show up for yourself consistently, no matter how small the step may seem. Start by taking that big vision and dividing it into milestones. What do you want to achieve this year, this month, this week? Then ask yourself, what's one small thing I can do today to get closer? It might be writing one paragraph, making one phone call, or even just researching your next move. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be deliberate. Progress is a muscle, and the more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every small victory builds confidence. Every task completed, no matter how small, tells your brain, I am a person who follows through. And that self-belief becomes momentum. Too often, people wait for motivation to strike before they act. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. What you really need is discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. And you build discipline by creating habits. When your actions become routine, you no longer have to rely on willpower. You move forward automatically because it's who you are now. That's how transformation happens, not overnight, but day by day, inch by inch, choice by choice. Also, don't underestimate the power of tracking your progress. Write it down, check it off, celebrate your consistency. This doesn't just keep you organized, it keeps you emotionally invested. Seeing your progress reminds you that you're not stuck, you're moving. It gives you something to be proud of, something to build on, and when you hit those inevitable roadblocks, and you'll have evidence that you've overcome before and can overcome again. A simple, actionable plan also gives you clarity. When you know what you're doing today, you're not wasting energy worrying about tomorrow. You focus on what's in front of you, and that focus is a superpower in a world full of noise. You stop trying to do everything, and you start doing the right things consistently. That's how you turn intentions into results. That's how dreams become real. You build brick by brick, and eventually you look up and realize you've built something powerful, something lasting, something that started with a single, focused step. So now, as we come to the end of this message, I want you to look at your life, not as it is, but as it can be. If you've been feeling lost, you're not broken. You're just at a turning point, and that's a powerful place to be. Because now you know the truth. To find your way forward, you must first find yourself. You must rediscover who you are, set goals that reflect your truth, and commit day by day to becoming the version of you that's been waiting to rise. The road won't be easy, but it will be worth it. You don't need to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. You have the ability, you have the power, and most of all, you have the greatness within you. Now it's your time. Set your goals, own your life, and don't you dare settle for anything less than the fire that's been burning in your soul all along.